So let's have a detailed explanation of gymnosperm from the material. So from the textbook, whatever content we covered, apart from that, some extra points, as always I am telling you, which one is needed for your entrance exam, that is given in this material. Many of the questions can be asked from this. So please be careful regarding that. Take out the material, page number 74. Whatever points we learned from the textbook, that we will explain speedily, and which one is extras, that will be explained. Gymnosperm, as we discussed, gymnosperms are plants in which the ovule are not enclosed. Here enclosed written, actually it is enclosed by any ovary wall and remain exposed both before and after fertilization. Here gymnosperm word is originated from two words, gymnos and sperma. Gymnos means naked, sperma means seed. So what you are understanding from gymnosperm? The gymnosperms are, it is not and, the gymnosperms are plants in which the ovule are not enclosed by any ovary wall and remain exposed both before and after fertilization. Study of gymnosperm is known as gymnospermology. So what you are meaning by gymnospermology? So what do you mean by gymnospermology? The study of gymnosperm is known as gymnospermology. Main plant body of gymnosperm is divided into root, stem and leaves. The roots are generally which one? We were explaining that from the textbook. So that time what we discussed? Different types of root system also I told you that. Taproot system, fibrous root system, adventitious root system. So in gymnosperms, which root system? Yes, taproot system. So the roots are generally taproots. And some extra points we discussed related to root. Some association, some specialized root. What are the names? Good, mycorrhiza and coralloid roots. So roots in some genera have fungal association in the form of mycorrhiza, as in the case of Pinus, while in some others, as in the case of Cycas, small specialized roots called coralloid roots are associated with nitrogen fixing cyanobacteria. In Cycan, roots are of two types, that is taproot and coralloid roots. Here in Cycan, that means in Cycas plants, the roots are of two types, taproot and coralloid roots. Coralloid roots are the specialized roots which are associated with what? Nitrogen fixing cyanobacteria. And regarding the stems we discussed, what we told? Yes, stems are unbranched in the case of Cycas or branched in the case of Pinus and Citrus. And leaves we told, it may be simple or compound. And in Cycas, the pinnate leaves persist for a few years. Persist means exist. The leaves in gymnosperms are well adapted to extreme conditions like temperature, humidity and wind. In conifers, the needle-like leaves reduce the surface area. Their thick cuticle and sunken stomata also help to reduce water loss. So to reduce water loss, whatever adaptations these plants are having, that we discussed in detail when we were telling about the points from the textbook. That's why I am not explaining in detail. I think the points are clear for you. Now the next point, gymnosperm and angiosperm are collectively included under spermatophyta. That is, seed-bearing plants. Important point is there. Gymnosperm and angiosperm are collectively included under which one? Spermatophyta, that is seed-bearing plants. Gymnosperms are naked seeded plant, that is no fruit formation takes place in this plant. Gymnosperms are naked seeded plant, that is no fruit formation takes place in this plant. That's the first point we told that in these plants the ovule are not enclosed by any ovary wall and they remain exposed. In gymnosperm, embryo and seed formation takes place but no fruit formation occurs. See the point? In gymnosperm, embryo and seed formation takes place but no fruit formation occurs. That's why they remain as exposed. Gymnosperms are very limited in distribution. They are mainly found in cold regions. In India, gymnosperms are found on Himalayan mountains. They usually occur on slopes of mountain in cold region. Therefore, gymnosperms are xerophyte. Once again see that gymnosperms are very limited in distribution. They are mainly found in cold regions. In India, gymnosperms are found on Himalayan mountains. They usually occur on slopes of mountain in cold region. Therefore, gymnosperms are known as xerophyte. All gymnosperms are vascular plants. Means you have to understand they are having xylem and phloem. Therefore, vascular tissue present. Which are the vascular tissues? Yes, xylem and phloem. But xylem lack vessels and phloem lack companion cells. It's not totally well developed, but as compared to algae, bryophyte and pteridophyte, it's very well developed. They are having vascular tissue. But only the exception is that in xylem, vessels are not there and in phloem, companion cells are not there. But exceptionally in xylem of Netum, Ephedra, Welwitschia, true vessels are present. So, majority of the case or generally when we are speaking the case of gymnosperms, in that xylem lack vessels and phloem lacks companion cells. But exceptional cases are there. Some of the species like Netum, Ephedra, Welwitschia, in them true vessels are present. Secondary growth takes place in gymnosperm stem. So, gymnosperm stem is woody. Secondary growth takes place in gymnosperm stem. So, gymnosperm stem is woody. Most of the gymnosperms are arborescent, that means woody and tree habit. But some are present as shrub. So, this point we discussed when we are telling about the points from the textbook. That time this point was covered. What we discussed? Yes, they are found as shrubs, medium-sized trees, tall trees, etc. So here we are saying the same. Most of the gymnosperms are arborescent or woody and tree habit, but some are present as shrub. Example is Ephedra. Some gymnosperms are liana or woody climbers. Some gymnosperms are liana or woody climbers. Example, Netum ula. What's the name? Netum ula. So all these points we already discussed in the textbook and the same with some extra points as an introductory part given here. Now we are going to learn about life cycle of gymnosperm. All gymnosperms are heterosporous plants. Listen. All gymnosperms are heterosporous. S-P-O-R-O-U-S. It will be there. You have to correct the spelling. All gymnosperms are heterosporous plants. What do you mean by that? It was explained. Yes. They produce two different kinds of spores. Which are they? Good. Microspores and megaspores. They produce two kinds of haploid spores. Microspores and megaspores within microsporangium and megasporangium respectively. See here, all gymnosperms are heterosporous plants. They produce two kinds of haploid spores, microspores and megaspores within microsporangium and megasporangium respectively. Sporangia are borne on sporophylls which are arranged spirally along an axis to bond lax, that means loose or compact strobili or cones. Where sporangia are borne? Yes, on sporophylls. How they are arranged? Spirally along an axis to bond loose or compact strobili or cones. The strobili, singular strobilus, bearing microsporophylls and microsporangia are called microsporangiate cones or male strobili or male cone. Once again see this point. The strobili bearing microsporophylls and microsporangia are called microsporangiate cones or male strobili or male cones. All these three terms are same. Okay, microsporangiate cone, male strobili, male cone, whatever be there, the same is there. So what you have to understand? The strobili or the strobilus which are bearing microsporophylls and microsporangia are called what? Yes, microsporangiate cones or male strobili or male cones. Within microsporangium, many microspore mother cells are present. MMC we can say. So within microsporangium, what are present? Many microspore mother cells are present which undergo meiosis, that means which undergo meiotic division or reduction division and produce many haploid microspores. So after reduction division of MMCs present within the microsporangium, they produce what? Many haploid microspores. Germination of microspore takes place within microsporangium, hence it is called endosporic germination. So you have to understand this terminology as it is taking place within, inside. That's why it is known as endosporic germination. It's very important point is there. As we are told, once again see the point. Within microsporangium, many microspore mother cells are present which undergo meiosis and produce many haploid microspores. Germination of microspore takes place within the microsporangium, hence it is called what? Yes, endosporic germination. The microspore develop into a male gametophytic generation which is highly reduced and is confined to made of only a limited number of cells. See the point once again. The microspore develop into a male gametophytic generation which is highly reduced and is confined, confined to make of only a limited number of cells, and this reduced male gametophyte is called pollen grain. Listen. The reduced male gametophyte is called as pollen grain. So this is the male gamete. The development of pollen grain takes place within the microsporangium. So this reduced male gametophyte which is known as pollen grain, that is developing where? Within the microsporangium. Now the cones or strobili bearing cluster or group of megasporophylls with megasporangia are called megasporangiate cones or female cones. As we discussed about male cones or microsporangiate cones, now we are going to learn about megasporangiate cones or female cones. So the cones are stabili bearing cluster or group of megasporophylls with megasporangia are called what? Megasporangiate cones or female cones. When the male and female cones are produced on the same tree, the member is known as monoecious. Example, Pinus. And when male and female cones or megasporophylls are born on different trees, the member is called dioecious. In Cycas, male cones and megasporophylls are born on different tree, so it is dioecious. Example of monoecious, Pinus. Example of dioecious, Cycas. What do you mean by monoecious? When the male and female cones are produced on the same tree, then the member is known as monoecious, as in the case of Pinus. And when male and female cones or the megasporophylls are born on different trees, then the member is known as dioecious. Example, Cycas. In Gymnosperm, the megasporangium is made of a diploid tissue also, that is known as nucellus. Once again, see the point. In Gymnosperm, the megasporangium is made up of a diploid tissue also called nucellus. It is covered with integument or envelope. Listen here. What we are saying the point, you have to understand very carefully. In Gymnosperm, the megasporangium is made up of a diploid tissue also called nucellus, and it is covered with integument or envelope also. Hence, this composite structure is called integumented megasporangium or ovule. Listen here. The megasporangium or ovule of Gymnosperm is made up of a diploid tissue called nucellus, and it is protected by an integument. So, the composite structure is known as what? Integumented megasporangium or ovule. It's a very, very important point. Please note down the same. Now, one cell of nucellus, as we discussed that diploid tissue nucellus is there. So, each cell means each cell, what will be there? Diploid will be there. So, one cell of nucellus is differentiated into megaspore mother cell and undergoes meiosis to form 4 haploid megaspores. 3 of them degenerate and only 1 megaspore remains functional. Once again, see the point. One of the cell of nucellus is differentiated into megaspore mother cell and it undergoes meiotic division to form 4 haploid megaspores. From this, only 1 is functional, all the other 3 degenerate, and this 1 functional megaspore remains, and this only 1 megaspore, which one is functional, that remains. Once again, see the point. One cell of nucellus, it is diploid, that is differentiated into megaspore mother cell, and this MMC, that is megaspore mother cell, undergoes which division? Meiotic division, and form what? 4 haploid megaspores, and from these 4, 3 of them are degenerated and only 1 megaspore remains functional. The functional megaspore germinate inside the megasporangium. That's why it's known as what? Endosporic germination. In the case of microspore also we told the same. And here also the functional megaspore germinate inside the megasporangium. So it is known as endosporic germination and it develops into a multicellular female gametophyte also called endosperm. That is haploid. Here N represents what? Haploid. That ploid is haploid. So the functional megaspore germinate inside the megasporangium, that is endosporic germination, and it develops into a multicellular female gametophyte also known as what? Endosperm. The female gametophyte or endosperm produces 2 or more archegonia or female sex organs in one ovule. Listen once again. The female gametophyte or endosperm produces 2 or more archegonia or female sex organs in one ovule. The multicellular but less developed female gametophyte is retained within megasporangium or ovule. In bryophytes and pteridophytes, the male and female gametophytes have an independent free-living existence. In gymnosperm and angiosperm, they do not have free-living existence. They remain within the sporangia retained on the sporophyte. So in gymnosperm and angiosperm, they do not have free living existence as in the case of bryophytes and pteridophytes, which are having independent free living existence. But here, what is that? They remain within the sporangia retained on the sporophyte. As we told that microspores within the microsporangium, megaspore within the megasporangium. Now the pollen grain are released. So now both we discussed regarding microspores, regarding megaspores. That means pollen grain, the reduced male gametophyte and the female gametophyte, that is endosperm. Okay. So now we are coming to the topic. Anyhow, male gamete is ready, female gamete is ready. Now what should be the fertilization? So the pollen grain are released from the microsporangium and are carried in air currents, that is wind pollination, that is also known as anemophily. What is it known as? Anemophily. This scientific term you have to remember, you have to understand. So the pollen grains are released from the microsporangium and are carried in air currents, that is known as wind pollination. And another terminology is that anemophily. What is the scientific terminology? Anemophily. And come in contact with the opening of ovules on megasporophylls. Opening is known as micropyle. Okay. So what is happening? The pollen grains are released from the microsporangium and are carried in air currents and come in contact with the opening of ovules on megasporophylls. So what are the opening of ovules on megasporophyll known as? Yes, micropyle. Each pollen grain produces pollen tube carrying 2 male gametes which grows towards archegonia in the ovule and release or discharge its contents. What is the content? As we told that each pollen grain produce what? Pollen tube, and the pollen tube carries what? 2 male gamete, and this pollen tube grows towards where? Archegonia, where it is present in the ovule, and after reaching there, what this pollen tube is doing? It releases 2 male gametes, where? Near the mouth of archegonia. And one male gamete fuses with the female gamete and another male gamete degenerates. So what is happening here? 2 male gametes are discharged. From that, one is fertilizing with the female gamete and the another male gamete is getting degenerated. The fertilization is performed which results in zygote and then embryo formation within the ovule. The fertilization is performed which results in zygote, that means the male gamete which fuses with the female gamete results in the formation of zygote, and then from this zygote what is forming? Embryo, where it is forming within the ovule. Now fertilized ovule having embryo is called as seed. So what is it known as? The fertilized ovule having embryo is called seed. Because fertilized means after fertilization zygote is developing, and the zygote is developing as what again? Embryo, and it is happening within. Okay. So now the fertilized ovule having embryo is called a seed. These seeds are not covered with ovary wall. Ovary wall, the spelling is wrong, means you see here ovary wall, W-A-L-L it will be there, it is not well. Okay, ovary wall or fruit wall, so they are called as naked seeds. So these seeds are not covered with ovary wall or fruit ball, so they are called naked seeds. Means in gymnosperm seeds are formed but ovary or fruits are not formed. So they are called as naked seeded plants. So gymnosperms are also known as naked seeded plants because in that what is there? Seeds are formed but ovary or fruit balls are not formed. Seeds containing embryo, that is diploid, form new diploid sporophytic plants on germination. So the seeds which are containing embryo, they form new diploid sporophytic plants on germination. Pollinated pollens are stored in pollen chamber of ovule. Pollinated pollens are stored where? In the pollen chamber of ovule. When we are going to learn about angiosperms, and even in 12th standard when the reproduction chapter is coming, in that plant morphology is there, anatomy of flowering plants is there. In those chapters regarding these topics, detailed explanation is given. Now to this much only you have to understand. When the pollen grain is coming near to the archegonia, this pollen grain produces pollen tube. And this pollen tube carries two male gametes, and from this one of the male gametes get degenerated and the other one is fertilizing with the female gamete and results in the formation of zygote and which develops into embryo. And here what is not present? Ovary wall or fruit wall is not present. So the seeds are naked. That's why these gymnosperms are known as naked seeded plants. This topic is clear for you? Yes. Now regarding fertilization. Fertilization in gymnosperm, mainly two types of fertilization takes place in gymnosperms. Zoidosiphonogamy and siphonogamy. Zoidosiphonogamy, this type of fertilization occurs in lower gymnosperms. Male gametes are motile and transferred to female gamete by pollen tube. So what do you mean by zoidosiphonogamy? Zoidogamy once we discussed, siphonogamy once we discussed. Here the combine is coming. Zoidosiphonogamy in gymnosperms. This type of fertilization occurs in lower gymnosperms. Male gametes are motile, that means moving, and transferred to female gamete by what? Pollen tube. Siphonogamy. This type of fertilization occurs in higher gymnosperms. Male gametes are non-motile, transferred to female gamete by pollen tube. So what's the difference you have to understand? In zoidosiphonogamy, male gametes were motile. But in siphonogamy, when we are telling the male gametes are non-motile, they transferred to female gamete by pollen tube, that is same. After pollination, male and female gametes are fused and form a diploid zygote. In gymnosperm, single fertilization takes place, so only zygote is formed through fertilization. But in the case of angiosperm, double fertilization takes place. So two products are formed after fertilization, that is zygote and endosperm. This point will be explained in detail when we are going to learn about angiosperms. Angiosperms also known as what? Flowering plants. So in gymnosperm, single fertilization takes place, so only zygote is formed through fertilization. In angiosperm, double fertilization takes place, that means two fertilization takes place. So the two products are formed after it, that means after fertilization, that is zygote and endosperm. So in the case of gymnosperm, we told that two male gametes coming from that, one is getting degenerated, only one is fusing with the female gamete and results in the formation of zygote. In the case of angiosperms, when we are saying that two male gametes are coming, one of the male gamete is fusing with the egg from the egg apparatus and the other one in the central space, polar nuclei are present, with that it is fusing and results in the formation of what? PEN, that is primary endosperm nucleus. So endosperm is forming there, and after syngamy, zygote is forming there. So that's why we are saying that in the case of angiosperms, two fertilization takes place. Double fertilization means one of the male gametes fuses with the egg to form what? Zygote, and the other male gamete fuses with the polar nuclei, secondary nuclei. It's already diploid with the one male gamete, that is resulting in the formation of triploid primary endosperm nucleus, PEN. That we will learn in detail afterwards. Now this much just for understanding that. In gymnosperm, endosperm is formed before fertilization by megaspore, so it is haploid. But in the case of angiosperm, endosperm is formed after fertilization by triple fusion. As I discussed just now, triple fusion means secondary nucleus, already two polar nuclei present in the central, and that fuses to form what? Secondary nucleus, diploid, plus male gamete, that is haploid. So all together that is known as triple fusion, 2n plus n. So endosperm of angiosperm is triploid, but in the case of gymnosperm it is haploid. What is the reason? In gymnosperm, endosperm is formed before fertilization, that is pre-fertilization by megaspore, so it is haploid. But in the case of angiosperm, endosperm is formed after fertilization by triple fusion. So endosperm of angiosperm is triploid. It's very important point, the ploidy can be asked. In angiosperm, fertilization takes place by siphonogamy. You have to understand what do you mean by siphonogamy. Male gametes are non-motile and they are transferred to female gamete by what? Pollen tube. That is known as siphonogamy. Gymnosperms plus angiosperms are known as siphonogama. What is it known as? Siphonogama. In angiosperm, fertilization takes place by siphonogamy. Gymnosperms plus angiosperm is known as siphonogama. Different types of polyembryony are found in gymnosperm. What do you mean by polyembryony? Yes, occurrence of more than one embryos within the seed. Different types of polyembryony. Polyembryony means you have to understand. Poly means many. Embryony means embryos. So many embryos are present. That is, occurrence of more than one embryo within the seed is known as what? Polyembryony. So different types of polyembryony are found in gymnosperm. That is, occurrence of more than one embryos within seed. Now the next topic we have to learn, that is the life cycle of gymnosperm. Okay dear students, let's go ahead. We are going to learn about the life cycle of gymnosperms. Life cycle of gymnosperm and angiosperm is diplontic because gametophytic generation is short-lived. In this chapter, plant kingdom, the last topic is life cycle of alternation of generation. So in that mainly three life cycles are explaining: haplontic, diplontic and haplodiplontic. That is depending on the duration of the phase. If haplontic phase is more, we can tell that they are having a haplontic life cycle. And if they are having diploid phase, that is the sporophytic phase is more, we can call it as diplontic life cycle. And if both are equal or 50-50% like that, we can say that haplodiplontic or intermediate phase. So that we will discuss in detail when that topic is coming. But now regarding life cycle of gymnosperms, when we are explaining, so you have to understand, in the case of life cycle of gymnosperms and angiosperm, it is diplontic. Means what? The gametophytic generation is very short-lived. Gametophyte is very reduced and depend on its sporophyte. Gametophyte is very reduced, and it depends on which one? Sporophyte. That's why we are saying that they are having a life cycle of diplontic. It's a very important point. You have to note down the same. Now you can see here diploid and haploid phase is given. In diploid you can see sporophyte, that is male corn, and sporophyte female corn. Means male corn producing and female corn producing sporophytes. Both are diploid. And the male corn produces microsporophylls via microsporangium, undergoes meiotic division. From that microspore mother cells results in the formation of microspores. They are haploid because it is undergoing meiotic division, so produce haploid spores. Here sporophyte in that female corn producing, and the female corn means megasporophylls which bear that, and it has megasporangium, that is the ovule. Megasporangium is also known as ovule. This diploid ovule or diploid megasporangium, in that also megaspore mother cell, one of that undergoes meiotic division and produces 4 megaspores. From that we discussed that only one is functional, and this germinate and give rise to female gametophyte, that is known as endosperm. So microspores germinate to form reduced male gametophyte, that is pollen grain, and the functional megaspore germinate to form female gametophyte, that is endosperm, and the male gametophyte pollen grain, that is the male gametes. In female gametophyte endosperm, archegonia, and here archegonia contains female gamete, that is known as egg. Now what happened? Male gamete, female gamete, both are fusing, that is fertilization. Fertilization by zoidosiphonogamy or siphonogamy. Zoidosiphonogamy in the case whether the male gametes are motile and transfer the male gamete to female gamete by pollen tube. That's it's known as zoidos, means the motile also there and through pollen tube it is going. But in the case of siphonogamy, the male gametes are non-motile, through pollen tube it is transferring there. That's it, some of the species are having zoidosiphonogamy and some of them are having siphonogamy. That means 2 types are there, fertilization. And after fertilization, which again results in the formation of what? Diploid zygote. And the zygote undergoes mitotic division, results in the formation of embryo. And this embryo again means it contains seed, and the seed, that is the sporophyte, develops as again sporophyte. So the seed germinate and give rise to again a diploid sporophytic plant. So when we are seeing this, you can see that the diploid stage is more as compared to haploid. Haploid stage is short-lived, only the formation of male gamete, female gamete and fertilization. And after fertilization again which stage is coming? Diploid zygote is developing there. Then after it means mitotic division happens, zygote develops into embryo and that can seed, and the seed germinate again to form sporophyte, diploid sporophyte. So this is life cycle of gymnosperm. Here you can see the figure is given. Gymnosperms are divided into 2 groups. Cyclophyta, lower gymnosperm, Coniferophyta, higher gymnosperm. And we discussed that nucellus is found, which is covered by integument, and this nucellus and covered by integument together known as ovule. In that megaspore mother cell, one of the means from that nucellus we told that one of the megaspore mother cell undergoes meiotic division, and we told 4 megaspores are formed. That's what's known as megaspore tetrad. Tetrad means a group of 4. So 4 are formed. Then from these 3 are degenerating. Only one is functional, and this functional one is known as female gametophyte or endosperm. And then archegonial initialis you can see here beginning. Archegonial chamber is there, that is inside the endosperm, that is female gametophyte is there. That is well protected in an archegonial chamber. You can see archegonia, archegonial chamber. Then as we discussed, pollen chamber is there, and it is coming towards the pollen tube and reaching towards the opening of this archegonium, that is known as the micropyle. And when this micropyle means pollen tube reaches the micropyle, from this the male gamete is reaching towards the female gametophyte. And one of the male gamete we told that it is degenerating and then leads to the formation of what? Seed. That ovule is converting as what? Seed. And seed germinate again to give rise to what? Sporophytic plant, that is diploid. So this is regarding the life cycle of gymnosperms. And we told that gymnosperms are divided into two groups, Cycadophyta and Coniferophyta. Cycadophyta lower gymnosperm and Coniferophyta higher gymnosperm. Cycadophyta, the plants of this group are megaphyllous or macrophyllous with succinate vernation. See once again, the plants of this group are megaphyllous, that means you have to understand leaves are big, with succinate vernation, presence of ramanda, that was discussed last class. Ramanda, what are they? It was labeled in the diagram. Remember that? Yes. And the male gamete is motile. So Cycadophyta lower gymnosperm. The plants of this group are megaphyllous or macrophyllous with succinate vernation, presence of ramanda, male gamete is motile. Cycadophyta is again divided into three orders, Cycadophylicales or Pteridospermae, Bennettitales, then Cycadales. See once again what we are saying here. Cycadophyta lower gymnosperm is again divided into three orders, Cycadophylicales or Pteridospermae. This order is completely extinct. Plant of this order known as seed fern. So what they are known as? Seed fern. Completely extinct Cycadophyta is which one? Cycadophylicales or Pteridospermae. Bennettitales. It is also a completely extinct group. Example, Williamsonia. It's a fossil plant. What's the name? Williamsonia. Its fossils were discovered by Professor Birbal Sahar. So listen, here we have discussed about out of three orders of Cycadophyta, two which we have discussed, Cycadophylicales or Pteridospermae and Bennettitales, and here we have seen that both of the plants coming under this order are completely extinct. Plants of Cycadophylicales or Pteridospermae are known as seed fern, and plants of Bennettitales, from that example Williamsonia, is fossil plant, and its fossils were discovered by Professor Birbal Sahar. Now the last order, that is Cycadales. Presently living cycadophytes are included in this order. That means out of the three orders, two are completely extinct, only one is there. So presently living cycadophytes or lower gymnosperms are included in this order, that is known as Cycadales. All the plants of this group are living fossils. All the plants of this group are living fossils. Zamia pygmea, the smallest gymnosperm. Largest we discussed from the textbook, what was that? What's the name? Yes, redwood tree, sequoia. And here the smallest gymnosperm, it can be asked in the exam. Please remember that which is the smallest gymnosperm, Zamia pygmea. And cycas, it's also known as fern palm or sago palm. Sago is obtained from its stem. The diameter of its ovule is 7 cm. Its ovule, male gametes, egg and male corn are largest in plant kingdom. So very important, underline the point. The diameter of ovules of cycas is 7 cm. Its ovule, male gametes, egg and male corn are largest in the plant kingdom. In embryo of cycas, 2 cotyledons are present, dicotyledonate. In embryo of cycas, 2 cotyledons are present. In cycas, male gametes are top shaped. Point is clear for you? Here cycas figure is given. In that female plant is also shown, male plant is also shown. In female plant you can see all the leaf bases, stem, megasporophylls, which we have megasporangium. In that you know that what is happening, megaspores are developing there. And foliage leaves, that in both it is present, foliage leaves in the case of male plant and female plant. Even male corn you can see in the figure. Now next is Coniferophyta, that is the second division of gymnosperm, which includes higher gymnosperms. So we have discussed about lower gymnosperm, Psychrophyta, mainly divided into 3 orders: Psychrophyllical pteridospermae, Bennettitales, Cycadales. From this 3, first 2 already extinct group is there, and the Cycadales, presently living Cyclophytes are included. Now coming to Coniferophyta, 4 orders are included in this group. So in Psychrophyta, 3 orders. In the case of Coniferophyta, higher gymnosperm, 4 orders are included. Gink, what is the spelling you see? Ginkgoales. 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 It is the oldest order of Coniferophyta. Underline. The oldest order of Coniferophyta is Ginkgoales. Maximum plants of this group are extinct. As we discussed in the case of lower gymnosperm, Cyclophyta, first 2 orders completely extinct plants. Here also the oldest order of Coniferophyta, maximum plants of the group are extinct. Ginkgo biloba, it's a living fossil. It is also known as maiden hair tree. This can be asked in exam. Ginkgo biloba. The order's name itself like that. You can see that Ginkgoales. Ginkgoales. So Ginkgo biloba, a living fossil. It's also known as maiden hair tree. The question can be asked, maiden hair tree. What's the name? Ginkgo biloba. What is it? It's a living fossil. Coming under which order? Ginkgoales. Good. Exceptionally, Ginkgo biloba belongs to higher gymnosperm, but its male gametes are motile. Its male gametes are motile. So why we have told this? Now the plant's figure is given. Ginkgo, seeds are there, long shoots there, and dwarf shoot also present there. Second order of Coniferophyta, higher gymnosperm, that is Chordatates. Chordatates, Chordatates. Chordatates. It's completely extinct group. Chordates, completely extinct group. Example, chordates. Next is coniferae. Conifers are included in this group. It is the largest group of gymnosperm. It's a very important point when we are discussing about the 4 orders of Coniferophyta. That is the higher gymnosperm divided into 4 orders: Gingoales, Cordiatales, Coniferales and Nettles. From these Coniferales, the 3rd order, that is the largest group of gymnosperm. Conifers are included in this group. Examples of Coniferales: Pinus, pines, Pinus species. A resin, turpentine, is obtained from it. Turpentine is used in varnish. So see that Pinus species, a resin, turpentine is obtained from it. Turpentine is used in varnish. Pinus gradiana. It is also known as Chilgoza pine. What is it known as? Chilgoza pine. Pinus gradiana, Chilgoza pine. Pinus roxburghi. It is known as chalpine. So this is regarding Pinus. Next is Cedrus. It is known as deodar. Taxus. It's known as yew tree. An anti-cancer medicine, Taxol, is obtained from its bark. Very important. Taxus coming under Coniferae of Coniferophyta, higher gymnosperm, that is known as Taxus. It's also known as yew tree. An anti-cancer medicine, Taxol. Taxus name is there, so medicine's name is Taxol. It is obtained from the bark of this Taxus plant. Abies balsamea. Abies balsamea. A resin, Canada balsam, is obtained from it. It is used to manufacture permanent slides in biology laboratory. It's a very important point. You can see that Abies balsamea, a resin, Canada balsam, is obtained from it. It is used to manufacture permanent slides in biology laboratory. Juniperus virginiana. Listen, Juniperus virginiana. An oil is obtained from this tree. Cedar wood oil. What's the name of the oil obtaining from that? Cedar wood oil. It is used as cleansing fluid in biology laboratory. This oil is also used in microscope to increase the resolving power. This oil is used as nail polish remover. Even girls are knowing that, using the nail polish remover. So you have to understand in that the oil is used, which one? That is getting from Juniperus virginiana, and this oil is in many aspects it is useful there, and it is known as cedar wood oil. It is used as cleansing fluid in biology laboratory. It is used in microscope to increase the resolving power, and it is used as nail polish remover. Next plant, that is Araucaria species, Araucaria excelsa, Christmas tree, that you are knowing only there, Christmas tree. Next is Sequoia species. The plants in this genus are heavy, therefore they are called as father of forest. It's very important point, very interesting point is here. Sequoia species, the plants in this genus are heavy, therefore they are called as what? Father of forest. It is called redwood tree or Sherman tree, and this is the largest gymnosperm. So very important. The largest gymnosperm is redwood tree or Sherman tree, also known as sequoia tree. Which is the smallest? Which is the smallest? Which is coming under lower gymnosperm, Psychrophyta, the last order. What is that? Cycadales. In that we are told about Zamia pygmea, the smallest gymnosperm. Here we are telling about the largest gymnosperm, that is sequoia, redwood tree, also known as Sherman tree, and they are heavy plants, and that's why they are known as the father of forest. Next name is Metasequoia. Sequoia species is there. Metasequoia. It's a living fossil. This plant is present in China Valley. So which is the living fossil coming under gymnosperm? Metasequoia. And where it is present? In China Valley. Here figure is given of Pinus. Pinus monoecious plant. There you can see both male cones also there, female cones also there. Long shoot is also there, dwarf shoot is also there. And winged pollen grain you can see. Microspore or the pollen grain, they are having wings. Anemophila we told, through wind that is dispersing. So now the last order of Coniferophyta is Nettles. G silent, Nettles. They are the most advanced gymnosperm. So the questions can be asked: the largest group of gymnosperm, Coniferous, and the most advanced gymnosperms were present in the order Nettles. Other two we already told that mostly extinct group is there. So Nettles are the most advanced gymnosperms. Exceptionally, members of this group have vessels in xylem. Already we told that vessels are not present in the case of gymnosperms, but exceptional cases are there. In case of Nettles, what is there? Members of this group have vessels in xylem. That's it, we told that they are most advanced. So evolution also we can see here. When coming to the last order of gymnosperm, highly evolution we can see. They are the most advanced gymnosperms. In their xylem, vessels are also present. Archegonia is absent in the members of this group. Netum, example is Netum, Welwitschia, Ephedra. Ephedra, exceptionally Archegonia is present in Ephedra. Listen, so first we told that Archegonia is absent in the members of Nettles group, but exceptional one case is that Ephedra, which is coming under this only there, but it is having Archegonia. Ephedra, this gymnosperm is commonly found in Rajasthan. Ephedra is a medicinal plant. Ephedrine, that is the medicine which is obtaining from that. It is an effective medicine in asthma. Athletes misuse it. So, ephedrine is restricted for that. Listen here. Ephedra is a gymnosperm coming under the order Nettles. Usually, in the majority of cases, Archegonia is absent in the members of that group. But in Ephedra, exceptionally Archegonia is present. This gymnosperm is commonly found in Rajasthan. It is a medicinal plant. Ephedrine medicine is obtaining from it, and it is an effective medicine in asthma. But athletes misuse it. So ephedrine is restricted for athletes. Now there is mainly two requirements for seed formation. Plant should be heterosporous. Germination of megaspores should be endosporic. Please, students, note down this point, underline this point. What we have discussed here, there is mainly two requirements for seed formation. So which are the two main requirements for seed formation? First of all, plants should be heterosporous. Two types of spores, megaspore and microspore. And germination of megaspores should be endosporic within the sporangium, that is known as endosporic. Now some important points we are going to discuss. Antheridia is absent in gymnosperm and angiosperm. That is, pteridophyte is the last group having Antheridia. But Archegonia is also absent in angiosperm. So Archegonia is also absent. Antheridia is also absent. Archegonia is also absent in the case of angiosperm. But in the case of Archegonia, we told that in gymnosperms, most of the members Archegonia is not present, but in Ephedra it is present. So here we are telling the point, Antheridia is absent in gymnosperm and angiosperm, that is Pteridophyta, algae, Bryophyte and pteridophyte. This pteridophyte is the last group having Antheridia. But Archegonia is also absent in Angiosperm. So Gymnosperm is the last group having Archegonia. During evolution, gametophyte becomes reduced and sporophyte becomes well developed. If we are seeing the case of gametophyte, in Angiosperm it is very reduced and well developed in the case of moss. Moss, where it is coming? Where moss is coming? Liverworts and moss. Yes, Bryophyta. Moss is coming where? Anybody knows that? Excuse me, anyone can tell me? Mosses are coming under which one? Yes, Bryophyta. Okay, now sporophyte, gametophyte is very reduced, and what is highly developed? Sporophyte. And gametophyte is well developed in moss and very reduced in Angiosperm. Sporophyte is very reduced in Thallophyta because only zygote is there, and well developed in Angiosperm. So now we are going to learn about some golden key points. What we have learnt? We can say that a quick summary, some important points can be covered from this. So golden key points. With this we are going to wind up the session of today's. First point, plant body of algae is not differentiated into root, stem and leaves. Such plant body is called thallus or thalloid. Algal sex organs are unicellular and jacketless, but exceptionally sex organ of Chara are multicellular and jacketed. Spirulina, blue-green algae and chlorella is used as a source of food and oxygen by space travelers. When we were discussing about the uses of algae, this point was explained. Spirulina, blue-green algae and chlorella is used as a source of food and oxygen by whom? Space travelers. Algin, obtaining from which one? Which one? Hello? Are you hearing me? Algin. Yes. Algin protects seaweeds against desiccation and shocks. What do you mean by desiccation? Extreme dryness. Because they are having water holding capacity. Algin and carrageen. Algin and carrageen. And from this algin protects seaweeds against what? Desiccation and shocks. Major pigments of Rhodophyceae are chlorophyll A, D and phycoerythrin. So which are the major pigments of Rhodophyceae? You know that algae are classified into three main classes mainly. Which one? Chlorophyceae, Phaeophyceae, Rhodophyceae. Mainly based on what pigments present in that and the stored food. So here Rhodophyceae, which are the major pigments? Chlorophyll A, D and phycoerythrin. Gardikos effect is found in both red algae and blue-green algae. What is Gardikos effect? Please note down. Gardikos effect. The efficiency to change the pigment composition. Please write down. The efficiency to change the pigment composition to absorb maximum light for photosynthesis with the variation of incident light is called complementary chromatic adaptation or Gardikos phenomena. Once again, you listen carefully. Please note down. I am repeating the sentence. The efficiency to change the pigment composition to absorb maximum light for photosynthesis with the variation of incident light is called complementary chromatic adaptation or Gaudico's phenomenon. So, Gaudico's effect is found in both red algae and blue-green algae. Bryophytes are amphibians of the plant kingdom because these plants can live in soil but are dependent on water for fertilization. In Bryophyta, the sporophyte is dependent on gametophyte, and the gametophyte is the main haploid body, and that's the main haplondic phase because sporophyte is depending on gametophyte. Most developed gametophyte in kingdom Plantae is found in mosses. Most developed gametophyte is found in the kingdom Plantae is which one? That is found in mosses. Mosses along with the lichens are the first organisms to colonize rocks, hence are of great ecological importance. This point was explained to you. Pteridophytes are vascular cryptogams. They are the flowerless or seedless plants. Pteridophytes are vascular cryptogams and first successful terrestrial plants. Once again see that point. Pteridophytes are vascular cryptogams and first successful terrestrial plants. Prothallus is independent and mostly photosynthetic gametophyte. Selaginella, Salvinia, Marsilia, Azolla are heterosporous pteridophytes, that means they produce different spores which show precursor of seed habit. All these points were explained from the textbook and even from the content, that's why I am not explaining again. We are just having a quick summary or the review of the topics whatever we learned. Gametophyte is monoecious, that means bisexual in homosporous pteridophytes. The ovules are not enclosed by ovarivole and remain exposed both before and after fertilization in the case of gymnosperms. Integumented megasporangium is called as ovule. Integumented means having protective covering or protection. Okay. Integumented means megasporangium is covered by envelope or integuments. In gymnosperms, single fertilization takes place, so only zygote is formed through fertilization. In gymnosperm, single fertilization takes place, so only zygote is formed through fertilization. What the difference we told regarding angiosperm? Yes, double fertilization results in what? Zygote also there and even endosperm also there. Pollen grains and seeds are veined in the case of Pinus. Ephedra and Taxus are medicinal gymnosperms that we discussed already. Ephedra and Taxus, ephedrine and Taxol, which are the medicines obtaining from that. Taxol is obtained from the bark and it is an anti-cancer medicine, and ephedrine, it is also a medicinal plant. Ephedrine is medicine that is obtaining from ephedra and it is an effective medicine in asthma. So now with this point, today's session we are winding up. Now in the next session we are going to learn about angiospermy, and the last topic will be there, that is what I told you. Yes, plant life cycles and alternation of generation. So dear students, in this chapter, that is plant kingdom, we have completed algae, then bryophytes, pteridophytes and gymnosperms from both textbook and even from the material. Many scientific terms are coming, many new terminologies are there. You have to write and learn also there. Please read the textbook thoroughly. Try to understand the concept from the Allen or from the material, whatever extra points given, that also you have to learn. And thank you so much for the session. Again, we will be joining in the next session with a new topic, that is angiosperms. Thank you so much.